Joey Mack here, and we're going to change up topics for a little bit. I've been working a lot on some different personal projects, not for YouTube, so I figured I'd do my annual baseball predictions. Um, I'd like to probably expand and probably do all sports. Maybe I'll get into the playoffs for the NBA and the NHL this year. But every baseball season, right around opening day, I like to post my predictions of what I think is going to happen. And I've been completely off the last 3 years. Not by a lot, but I have never successfully predicted. I've predicted the loser of the World Series twice, but never the winner. So we're going to start with obviously the division winners, and then we'll get to the playoffs. So let's start with the American League East, because the rest of the world likes to think that the American League East is basically the only division there is in baseball. So I'm going to go with the Boston Red Sox at 95 wins. It's not just because of the Boston hype, or anything. I know ESPN and others have picked them to win their division. It's because of a couple reasons. One, Tampa Bay is going to fall, and they're going to fall greatly. They lost way too much talent to be able to stay on top. The Yankees are getting older in front of our eyes, and I hate the Yankees, but I'm not afraid to give them credit where credit's due. They still have an unbelievable roster, but their pitching is very suspect, and I just don't think that they've got enough to win the American League East. Boston, on the other hand, got Carl Crawford, Adrian Gonzalez, and they have a couple of people that were injured last year that are returning this year. So with that combination, I think it's just too great for any other team in that division to overcome, and Baltimore and Toronto just obviously don't have enough. American League Central, I'm going to go with the Chicago White Sox, which I don't know if that's going out on a limb or not. It depends on who you ask. There's some people that still think that the Twins are the team to beat. Some people think that the White Sox are ready to get back into the playoff. You even have some people that believe the Tigers could be in the mix. I don't know. For me, I'm going to go with the Chicago White Sox with 93 wins. With the addition of Adam Dunn, a great bullpen, good enough starting pitching, and an already decent offense in place from last year, it's not hard for me to think that they could just switch or swap a couple games with the Twins this year and win the division. I don't see why that's so hard for everyone to believe. I think that their offense is very potent. I think they have all the makings of being a really great team this year. Moving on to the American League West, I think the Texas Rangers are going to repeat and win with 91 wins. It's funny, out of all the divisions, the Rangers are getting no respect this year. I don't know why. They were in the World Series last year. Besides losing Cliff Lee, and he was only on the team for X amount of time last year, I'm not sure why it's so unbelievable that the Rangers could repeat. A lot of people are picking I've seen just about every team in that division, except Seattle, obviously, picked all across the web. People like the Angels, people like the Athletics. It's just kind of crazy to me why no one's giving the Rangers any love. The Athletics, it's no secret that I almost can't stand them. Not because of who they are, just because of so many people like to give them so much credit, and they haven't done jack shit in 10 years. I mean, if making the playoffs a few times, in the last decade is something great, then, let's give some props to other teams. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just don't see them winning. I don't see the Angels winning. I just don't think those teams have done enough to get over the Rangers, in my opinion. That's the only reason. It's not really disrespect. It's just I don't understand why it's so unbelievable that the Rangers couldn't win. Anyway, my wild card team will be the Minnesota Twins at 90. Sorry, Yankee fans. We're not going to have both the Red Sox and the Yankees in the playoffs. Again, I know, very heartbreaking. The Twins are still a good team, and it's not hard for me to believe that they'll still make the playoffs. I just think that they're going to be the wild card team. So, moving on to the National League, we'll start with the NL East. My Philadelphia Phillies, I have them winning the division with 96 wins overall. I'm not anyone that's familiar with my predictions know that I have picked them to go to the World Series a couple times. I don't think I've ever actually picked them to win the World Series. I know I didn't. I picked them to lose, in the Tampa Bay series when they won. So it's not me being a homer. It's just I still think they're the best team in that division. I think that the time to win is now with this team the way it's set up. I think if they're going to win again, they need to do it right now. And I think they have a good enough team to win the division yet again. NL Central, I'm going to go with the Reds as a repeat winner. I'm going to give them 90 wins overall. That's another division that's such a pick-em, it seems. The sexy picks seem to be the Brewers for some reason, and I don't see how they could possibly have done enough this offseason to get so much better that they'll win the division this year. And the Cardinals just don't do a whole lot for me as far as winning the division. And really no other team in that does. I guess the Brewers would be the closest thing to giving the Reds a hard time, but I still don't believe the Brewers have enough to overtake the Reds this year, at least. NL West, very tough division to pick. I am going to go on a limb and say the Colorado Rockies with 89 wins. The reason that I'm picking the Rockies is, one, I think you've cut, and I think if you flip a coin, that's about as good as you can get to any kind of real prediction for that division. I think it's going to come down to the Giants and the Rockies. LA does not have enough to stay in the race. They may stay with it for a while, but I don't think they'll stay in it all year. San Diego and Arizona just do not have enough. I think I wouldn't be so shocked if the Giants repeated, but I'm going to go with the Rockies. I think they have just better tools. I think they're healthy this year. I think they can do it. And I don't like the Giants getting another year older and not really doing a whole lot. I know that they've got some young studs in that lineup, but you're asking for a couple of people, I think, to do too much. That's all. I think last year a lot of things went well for the Giants, and that's why they were able to win the World Series. So I'm not counting on them repeating the magic that they got last year. And then my NL wildcard team, I'm going to put with the Atlanta Braves. For anyone hearing that noise, it's my cat tearing apart some cardboard box for some reason. Anyway, I'm going to go with the Atlanta Braves with 92 wins for the wild card. They are a very good team, and if the Phillies were not in that division, I would suspect that they would actually win. I think they have a great pitching staff. I think they have a very underrated offense, but the key to them is an outstanding bullpen, and I think that's going to really help them as the year goes on, and I think the playoffs start. So, with that said, just to recap, American League East, Boston Red Sox, 95 wins. American League Central, Chicago White Sox, 93 wins. American League West, Texas Rangers, 91 wins. And my AL wildcard, the Twins, with 90. NL East, Philadelphia Phillies, 96 wins. National League Central, Reds, 90 wins. National League West, 89 wins for the Colorado Rockies, and the National League wild card would be the Atlanta Braves with 92. So, move on to our playoff seeding, and we move on to predictions, sure to go wrong. Well, the Red Sox would be my obviously my 1 seed, taking on my wild card team, the Twins, with the White Sox taking on the Texas Rangers. We start with the Red Sox and the Minnesota Twins. It's an intriguing matchup, to be sure, and both American League matchups actually would interest me if this is how they fall out. I'm going to go with the Red Sox in a tight one. All 5 games. I take it 3 games to 2. I think the Red Sox are a better team, but I think the Twins are very scrappy. The Twins just consistently seem like a team that is always good enough to somehow make it into the playoffs, but never enough to kind of get over the hump and get to the World Series or win the World Series. So I'm going to go with the Red Sox in 5. The White Sox versus the Rangers will be an outstanding offensive matchup. But the White Sox have just too much veteran pitching to get through this, I think. So, and another one that I think will go to 5, we have the White Sox and the Rangers in a very entertaining series. Okay, moving on to the National League. Well, we're going to start with the Phillies versus the Rockies, and then the Reds would be taking on the Braves. The Phillies and the Rockies have quite a bit of history, I guess you could say, in the playoffs over the last 5 years, 6 years maybe. They've met each other a couple times. The Rockies had their number early. I am not going to go with the Rockies, though, in this case. The Philadelphia Phillies, I think, smoked them in 3 games straight. Too much pitching, too much offense, too much of a high-caliber team for the Rockies to take on. And for that matter, if it was the Giants, I do not believe that they would defeat the Phillies in the first round. The Reds versus the Braves will be interesting as well to watch. However, I think the Braves are too much for them and take them in 4. In probably a series that will be very entertaining, and I could see the Reds stealing a game, but honestly, I think the Braves would outclass them in that round. So we move on to going with the Red Sox versus the White Sox in a battle of the Sox for the American League pennant. I think this is where my hype of the Red Sox ends. I am willing to jump on the Red Sox bandwagon of them making it to the League Series. I'm not prepared to put them into the World Series. You're probably thinking, how can you put the White Sox over the Red Sox? Well, for one, I think the White Sox have a better rotation overall. And I know that sounds crazy, but I sometimes think that the Red Sox, we just automatically assume that they're a better team, just like the Yankees, because they're the Red Sox and the Yankees. And they've got this extreme payroll, and these players are all known to all of us, across the country. I'm in Philadelphia, but I'm sure there's people all over that know just about everyone on the Red Sox. And maybe rightfully so to a point. They do have a good team. However, I just have this feeling that the White Sox are going to gel. And I think, an addition like Adam Dunn, I think is perfect for this club. I think that's a guy that they absolutely need. It kind of reminds me a little bit of when Jim Thome was with them just a few years ago. This is a team that won the World Series, 6 years ago, I believe. I think that the White Sox take the Red Sox in 6 games. The White Sox, I believe, also have a better bullpen. That's my opinion. I just think that they can make it to the World Series. I really do. This is where it's a tough one for me. The National League Championship. It's my Phils versus the division rival Braves. On the one hand, I know that the Phillies are stacked pitching-wise. My problem with the Phillies is that I'm trying to see through the hype of the 4 aces and all that stuff. First of all, I'm realistic to know that their bullpen is going to be fried by the time they get to this point. Roy Oswalt could be hurting, for all I know. Roy Halladay and Cliff Lee might be used and abused by this point. I don't know that. I don't know for sure. I'm just saying that that's a very, very possible scenario that could run. That bullpen is untrustworthy as far as I'm concerned. If their bats go cold, which is really possible, and if they're injured at the end of the year because some players are potentially getting older, they could lose against the Braves. And I'm actually going to pick the Braves over the Philadelphia Phillies, even though that kind of hurts me. I'm going to pick them in 6. One, I'm picking them because I'm playing out one possible scenario. There's a good chance that the Phillies have an extreme pitching matchup that just overwhelms everyone, and they win the World Series, and they don't need their offense to step up because their pitching is that good, and that's very possible as well. I'm going to bet, though, that if this is a team that I think a lot of things have to go right for them to win. I'm afraid that this team's just going to be so beat up by the time the playoffs happen. I think they're going to give it their all. I think they're going to be the number 1 team in the National League. And I could see myself, I just want to see what time we're at. I could see the Phils just too injured to make it all the way. Again, like I said, it would not shock me to see them, in the World Series and win. But I'm going to go with the Braves just for this prediction. I'm going to go with the Braves and the White Sox. And the fans of watching this are probably pissed off beyond belief because, it's not the Cubs, it's not the Phils, it's not the Red Sox, it's not the Dodgers, it's not the Yankees. It's the White Sox and the Braves, And I'm going to go with the White Sox over the Atlanta Braves. And I'm going to do that in 6. I think this is the year of the White Sox. I think they have put together a team that is going to gel really nicely. I think I have all the pieces to win this year. I think they have just very consistent pitching. I think they have an overwhelming offense, and I think they have a fantastic bullpen. I think they've just got all the pieces to do it this year. Like I said, it's one possible scenario. Anything can happen. And we will see. So until then, send your hate mail to classicjm85@yahoo.com. Unless you're a Atlanta or Chicago fan, I suppose, especially White Sox fans. I'm sure you love me. I'm sure my fellow Philly fans are on their way to my house as we speak to burn it down. So this is Classic Joey Mac signing off. Peace out, y'all.